Hello sim racers and welcome back to the Fixed Setup Oval Racing Guide. It is week 11 of season 2 and today we will be covering ARCA at Richmond, C Fixed, B Fixed, A Fixed, and NIS in NASCAR's backyard, Charlotte Motor Speedway. While things might have been tough on the virtual side at COTA, it was a very entertaining weekend in the real world as the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series all ran. And that Cup race, especially in the rain, I thought it was pretty entertaining. I know not everybody liked it, not everybody enjoyed the ending, but I don't know. I thought from an entertainment perspective, it was pretty good. And I want to give a big thank you to everyone who watched and supported last week's video talking about the shift of direction, going back to basics with this series. Everyone really on board with that. So if you hit the like button, if you've subscribed and joined this community, thank you so very much. You know who you are. It really does mean a lot to see everyone so excited about the future of this series. Speaking of the future of this series, I put up a poll last week, as I commonly do on my community page here on YouTube, asking about what you thought of the next gen series, since it's going to become A Fixed in 2022. That was a typo. What do you think about it being added to the weekly video? 80% of you said bring it on. Not surprising to see that. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I wanted to see if there was an interest before I made a decision, but I believe the car is still very much a work in progress. So I'm not going to add anything at this time. I'm going to keep an eye on it. There's an unranked, unofficial series using the next gen car. Dive into it, check it out, see what it's all about. A bridge that we'll cross at another time. For now, we will focus on the task at hand. That is ARCA at Richmond, C Fixed, B Fixed, A Fixed, and NIS. A full-length NIS race, 400 laps, 600 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's do it. And a big thank you to this video's sponsor, Gamer Advantage, the only clinically proven lenses to improve sleep while reducing eye strain and headaches in as little as 5 days. If you want to learn more, there is a link down in the description below. Make sure you use code HOUSE at checkout to save 10%. The ARCA Menard Series rolls into the action track, Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. This is a 3/4 mile D-shaped oval, and this race goes for 45 laps at 9:30 p.m. in sim. Richmond is a great little short track. You will find yourself having an absolute blast if things are going your way. It's all about rhythm at this racetrack. We see so many short tracks when it comes to the ARCA series, but this one, it's a short track that races like a speedway. For this run that I'm about to show you, I used a 12-to-1 steering ratio and 66% brake bias. My lap time was a 22.246. Analyzing the lap from the outside, use the top of 3 and 4 to get a run to start your flying lap. There's a lot of grip up there. You'll get a big boost of speed running the top. Your braking point for turn 1 is going to be the 3rd or 4th red box from the end before you get to turn 1. Start hitting the brakes and turning in there. Roll it down to the bottom and look for this yellow sign as your throttle point to exit out to turn 2. Keep the car rolling right on that yellow line. Clip it a little bit and out to the wall. Down the backstretch you go. Your braking point for turn 3 are going to be these dashed lines right here on the left-hand side of the track. Again, pull it right back down to the bottom of the track. Look for these 2 white click list signs. You can start getting to the throttle somewhere between those 2 signs. Keep it on the bottom, exit low out of 4 to save a little bit of time on that D-shaped front stretch. After 10 laps of practice, it was really difficult to understand exactly what the car wanted to do. It didn't feel tight, it didn't feel loose, it just kind of felt numb. And maybe you'll experience the same thing. And perhaps the best remedy is to turn up the force feedback if you're just not getting enough information back on how you're driving the car. Backing up your corner entry is going to do you a world of wonders. Overdriving the corner entry is going to bite a lot of people this week when it comes to Richmond. It always does. That top side having more grip is going to be inviting, but I really think that at the end of the day, if you can roll the bottom at Richmond, you're going to be in good shape. For Memorial Day weekend, NASCAR stays home to race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Beast of the Southeast plays host to the Coca-Cola 600, also known as the World 600 for you OG NASCAR fans out there. It's the longest race on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, but the Truck Series and Xfinity Series are racing here as well. This track is 1.5 miles in length, features 24 degrees of banking, and it was opened back in 1960. This track used to be known as Lowe's Motor Speedway, and ironically enough, a Lowe's-sponsored car driven by 7-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson frequently found his way to victory lane. C-Fix goes for 45 laps and takes place at 8:30 p.m. in Sim. For this reference lap, I used a 14-to-1 steering ratio, did not touch the brakes at all, and my lap time was a 30.319. Taking a look at the lap from the outside now. Good run out of turn 4. Straight line the front stretch as much as you can. Left side tires right up against that blue line. Make sure you don't go over it because it will give you a 1X. Into turn 1, about the Bank of America logo is when you want to start turning away from the outside wall. The banking will start to turn the truck on its own, but when you get to that logo is when you need to start putting more input in to get this truck down to the bottom in the middle of the corner, and then let it arc back out towards the wall as you exit turn 2. How you get into turn 3 will go a long way in determining your lap time. It's a later entry than you may think. This caution light is when you really want to start to turn away from the outside wall. Any sooner than that, it's going to be too shallow of an entry. You'll have to cut speed to keep it on the bottom. I don't even make it to the bottom here, but it would have been a better lap time if I had, of course. Almost clipped the wall on exit. Left side tires against the dog leg as you complete the lap. C-Fixed at a 1.5-mile racetrack usually means restart shenanigans, blocking, and dirty air. And you're going to have all of that here at Charlotte. This track is going to be a challenge to pass on. Not just because of the setup, but just because of the way the track races. You can run that bottom, but as you see, if you have somebody on your outside and you have to pinch yourself down, you lose all your momentum. And when you lose that mighty mow around this track, you're not going to be having a good time. Once the field gets spread out and goes single file, use the track to your advantage to set up your passes and stay out of dirty air. The most challenging of the 3 series to run at Charlotte this week is going to be B-Fixed. This race is 50 laps in length, takes place at noon in Sim, and this car is not very fun to drive. It is tight. Tight, tight, tight. Whew! This thing doesn't like to turn. For this qualifying lap, I used a 14-to-1 steering ratio, 62% brake bias. You're going to need those brakes. The lap time was a 30.826.
Taking a look at the lap from the outside as we get a good run out of turn 4. Straight line, the front stretch. Left side tires up against the blue line here through the dogleg. As you set up for turn 1, you want to take a more shallow entry, be further away from the wall, right about that seam. When you pass by this Bank of America logo, that's where you're going to lift off the throttle and turn the car down to the bottom. Wait on the throttle. You have to wait for a long time before you get to this America's Home for Racing sign on the wall. That's when you can get back to the throttle and drive it up straight out of turn 2. Setting up for turn 3, it's going to be a shallow entry once again. Lift off the throttle at this caution light, but you see how far away from the wall I am when I pass by that white line on the racetrack. Get down to the bottom on that blue line. Look for the America's Home for Racing sign again on the wall. For your throttle up point, there's a Bank of America logo on the inside grass. That's when you can get back to the gas, keep it right on the bottom as you exit turn 4 and complete the lap. When the cars are a plow box like they are this week, the chances of going caution-free are usually pretty high. Take care of your equipment to make sure you can go all 50 laps. Save that right front tire, back up your corner entry, and drop that brake bias as the run goes on. It's not about being faster at the start. It's about being around at the end if you're going to win these races. Low horsepower, high downforce is back on the menu this week for A Fixed as we go for 63 laps, and the race takes place at 7:05 p.m. in sim. For this reference lap, I used a 12-to-1 steering ratio, 62% brake bias. My lap time was a 29.685. Taking a look at the lap from the outside, as you saw, it's pretty much flat foot except for turn 3, where you do have to crack the throttle a little bit. Setting up for turn 1, all the way through here, and about the time we get to this Bank of America logo is when you want to start turning away from the wall. Again, the banking will start to turn the car for you, but when you get to that logo, that's when you want to start putting more input in yourself. Get it right down to the blue line, exit out against the wall, down the back straightaway. Setting up for turn 3, a not as shallow approach as B Fix, but again, this caution light is where you're going to want to crack the throttle just slightly. Not all the way, about half throttle, just to turn the car to the bottom, then back to full throttle as soon as you can, and power out. There's just not enough grip available to flat foot it all the way through. Clip the dog leg and complete the lap. Have you ever wondered what it's like to do a 600-mile stock car race? Well, if you have, you're in luck. This week, you get to do exactly that. NIS is a full-length, 400-lap, 600-mile race that takes place at 6:30 p.m. in sim. This is an unbelievably long event. I would set aside at least 5 hours if you're planning on completing all 400 laps. If you're around at the end of this thing, you have my respect. This is one of the hardest events all year. Good luck out there. That'll do it for this week's guide. If it helped you out, help me out by leaving a thumbs up on the video. And if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you part of this community. If you want to watch me do my iRacing adventures throughout the week, you can stop by my Twitch channel linked down in the description below. A big shout out to all the YouTube members as well. Thank you so much for your support, and we will see you in the next Fixed Setup Oval Racing Guide.